Hi, welcome to KJ and Tony Move to France.
As you may know, we just spent a few weeks back in Paris.
And during that time, we were able to capture some really great footage of the different places we visited and events we attended.
In today's video, we're going to share with you some footage from the Palais Garnier Opera House.
We not only toured the Opera House as your typical tourist, but we also attended our very first opera. So we attended an opera at Palais Garnier that same evening.
And besides the footage from the Opera House, we're also going to share with you some interesting facts about the Palais Garnier Opera House.
And be sure to stick around for the end of the video because we're also going to be sharing with you our impressions of attending our very first opera. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Let's go.
Palais Garnier Opera House is one of the most famous buildings in Paris. The Opera Garnier, as it's known to locals, was commissioned by Napoleon III as part of his reconstruction of Paris. In 1860, a competition for the best design was conducted in which the winner was Charles Garnier, hence the name. Here are 10 fascinating facts about Palais Garnier. The auditorium has a seating capacity of nearly 2,000, one of the largest opera theaters in the world. The construction of the Palais Garnier was inspired by the assassination attempt of Emperor Napoleon III at another opera house that killed 8 of his men and destroyed the building. Palais Garnier was designed to have a private entrance and a special box where he could sit, thereby limiting most assassination opportunities. Charles Garnier requested and was approved to build a beautiful avenue that could best showcase the opera house, with no trees to disturb the view. Even today, all these years later, there are no trees on the Avenue de l'Opéra. Palais Garnier's opulence came with a hefty price tag. It was built for approximately $3.6 million, or in today's dollars, $115 million. Palais Garnier is reputed to be the first building ever where the architect has signed the building. The signature can be found on the vestibule's ceiling.
Welcome to Palais Garnier. Obviously, we're going to be dressed a little bit differently than we are right now when we come here this evening, but we thought that it would be nice to do a daytime versus evening time videos.
I'm really glad we did because there's no way we'll find our way around not having been here before.
It's so huge. I almost got lost. I went to go wander around to take pictures, and I left Tony sitting in this little library area. That's what you call it, right?
Yeah.
A little library area. And I almost couldn't find my way back. It's spectacular. It's so beautiful, which builds the excitement even more for tonight. We saw the stage, them preparing the stage for this evening.
And even the seating area, the seating area is covered by a painting from Marc Chagall that was done in the 60s that replaced the old ceiling. And it's spectacular. It's really unbelievable.
So we're so happy to be able to share it with you. We hope you enjoy it.
The day of the building's inauguration, January 5th, 1875, Napoleon had been living in England in exile and died without ever seeing the completed opera house. It's believed that the Phantom of the Opera is said to be inspired by events at Palais Garnier. There are several stories about people haunting Opera Garnier, most notably of an eccentric, physically deformed person who builds a home in a palace in a subterranean lake beneath the opera. Box number 5 is thought to be the Phantom's box, which he demanded every night and refused to share it with other spectators. In modern times, box number 5 is sold out for every performance, making it the most popular place to watch a performance and one of the few places you might not be seen. There really is an underground lake that existed under the Opera Garnier. As in The Phantom of the Opera, a chandelier played a role in the death of an audience member. During a performance, a counterweight of the 7-ton chandelier fell into the audience, killing someone. The opera stage is so large, the Arc de Triomphe can fit on it. It's the largest in Europe, at 170 feet wide and over 200 feet tall.
So what'd you think?
Well, I love the pageantry. I love the beauty of the facility. I love the age of it, and it was just gorgeous. I did not so much like the show because I thought it was too long. I think it was over 3 hours. We even had a half an hour intermission, which even the intermission seemed too long. I understand needing the intermission, but it seems like 10, 15 minutes would have been enough. But in general, it was one of those things that you want to do once in your life, and you might fall in love with it. I can't say I fell in love with it. I think that might have been a little bit to do with the story itself. But I enjoyed it. I'm glad we went.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad that we went, and I would even be interested in attending another opera, like going to one of the different opera houses and maybe attending a different style opera, because I do think that it depends upon the opera and the story in terms of your enjoyment, like really how much you enjoy it. For us, I think the fact that it was our very first experience, there was a lot of that excitement and just newness of the experience. So I absolutely loved it. I enjoyed the story, especially because we don't have anything to really compare it to other than a Broadway performance, because we've been to several Broadway performances, and this is definitely like a step, if not several steps, above, not necessarily performance-wise, but the fact that everyone was dressed up and it's somewhat formal, the elegance of the experience.
It's also a much larger facility than a Broadway play. I think it held 2,200 people, I think, and it was on, I think, 5 or 6 levels, and it was beautiful, and it was designed, the Opera House was designed for the purpose of doing what it does. So everybody's got a perfect view of the stage, so that part of it was great.
And I think too, the history of the Opera House is super interesting, fascinating, and learning about it before you go, like we did research, we learned about it, that we of course shared with you today. And it's interesting to know that information when you go in and then you're experiencing it and you're looking around. So I think overall for me, I loved it. I would definitely go again. You maybe
not.
Maybe not.
I probably wouldn't say no, but it wouldn't be at the top of my list.
Right, exactly.
So that's it for today's video.
We appreciate you watching and would like to express a special thanks to our channel patrons. We appreciate your support. So until next time, a bientôt.
Au revoir.